What's going on, Headliner Nation? Welcome back to the Draft.com studios, where we're continuing our series here on quick hitters. We're talking about ADPs, buying or selling players at their current ADP. In this episode, we're talking about players in the second round. I'm going to give you some quick hitting analysis on these guys. If you're looking for more detail, though, head over to our channel. There's a lot of other videos with a lot more content, a lot more in-depth content, if that's what you're looking for. But for now, make sure you go check out our website, thefantasyheadliners.com. Our draft guide is for sale, only $19.99, getting a ton of great feedback. Also, giving away an autographed Alvin Kamara jersey, something else you do not want to miss. If you've already purchased a draft guide or you purchased one up through August 15th, you'll be eligible to win this autographed jersey. Don't miss out. Go check it out. But for now, let's talk about some second-round ADPs here for 2019.
All right, so the first player in the second round, 2.01, Joe Mixon. And I talked about him on a Big Players to Avoid video just a week or so ago. But the reason that I'm selling him at this position is because all those offensive line troubles that they're having. I know their offensive line was bad last year, but I think it's going to be even worse given who they have lost this year. I love Joe Mixon. Trust me. I've said it before. I'm an OG Joe Mixon truther, but because of so many offensive line issues, I just don't see as much upside as I was hoping for earlier in the offseason.
Yeah, my most recent rankings video I did here a couple weeks back, I had Joe Mixon as a first-round grade, and now with the loss on the offensive line, to me, it's just a little bit too risky, and there's some other names out there that I would rather have. Right now, Joe Mixon's going to be a sell for me also.
Yeah, into the second round.
Yep.
But that's for a different time. Moving on to the next player now at 2.02 is going to be Odell Beckham Jr. And I've seen a lot of comments in some of our recent videos saying about a lot of other channels, a lot of other websites are saying, oh, we're staying clear of the Browns this year because we just don't know where the targets are going to go. We're not like that on this channel. We are all about Baker Mayfield. We are all about Nick Chubb. We are all about that offense. That offense is going to eat. Odell Beckham Jr. is going to get his. Jarvis Landry is going to get his. It doesn't matter. That offense is going to be great. I will buy Odell Beckham Jr. here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the closer we get to the season, his ADP may creep up a little bit more once we start seeing some preseason, workouts with him and Baker, and people are seeing all these crazy catches once again. A lot of people have that recency bad bias, whatever you want to call it, because they say he's gotten injured for the past 2 years and they just automatically write him off for this season. Love him in that offense. This is the best quarterback he's ever played with. Yes, I said it in Baker Mayfield. Odell Beckham's going to have a huge year, and I'm buying him here at the 2.02.
At 2.03, it's one of the most talked about football players this offseason, Todd Gurley. And what is going to happen with that knee? What's going to happen with his workload? Henderson is there now to back him up. The same type of running back to fit that scheme. I'll tell you what, though. Todd Gurley, if it wasn't for the concern over his knee, is the 1.01 without a doubt. But I'm going to buy him here still. Because if I can get a potential top of the first round talent at the top of the second round, give it to me all day long. I don't think his knee is going to be that big of a concern. I do think we maybe see a little bit of a reduced workload here and there, but I still think that this is a guy that's going to put up substantially better numbers than what people are prepared for.
First of all, Kyle, don't ever tell me to give it to you because that's just not right for video. But anyway, Todd Gurley, no. I'm passing, hard pass, selling on Todd Gurley. Yes, I think he deserves to go here in this second round, but not right yet. There's too many concerns. The guys, we still have no idea what his actual volume is going to be. Is an 80% Todd Gurley worth this pick? Possibly, but what really distances him between these other players? Not enough for me to take that risk. I'm going to sell Todd Gurley.
Agree to disagree on that one, but that is okay. That's why you get a little bit of Jake and a little bit of Kyle in this episode. But coming in at 2.04, JuJu SmithSchuster coming in here. We've talked about him a lot on this channel this offseason so far, and how could you not with all the changes there in Pittsburgh? What is going to happen? Can he take over as the wide receiver one? But I do have him lower than a couple of other wide receivers that are in this round. So he is a sell here for me at this point. I think he's in for a good season, but I think there are still some question marks as to whether or not Antonio Brown was the reason for his success, because he was able to feed off all the attention that was given to Antonio Brown. And can he become a legit wide receiver one? I like him. Think he's a great person. I think he's a great football player. However, this is a little too early for me.
Yeah, and here we go. We're disagreeing again. Now, earlier here in the offseason, I wasn't on the JuJu bandwagon because his ADP at one point had gotten all the way up into the late first round. And I was like, absolutely not. No way. Love the possibilities, but too much of a risk. Now that he's actually dropping into the second, we've already talked about Odell Beckham being off the board. JuJu, in my opinion, fits in just right about here. That upside is there. The target volume is going to be there. He's going to see close to, 170 targets this season. He's going to be the number one option. The biggest thing is if Dante Moncrief and James Washington can pull away some of that defensive attention, we're going to see JuJu thrive once again. I'm buying.
Now at 2.05, this is a guy that Jake and I agree on wholeheartedly. So this isn't going to be any kind of a disagreement here. Dalvin Cook from Minnesota. This is a guy that if he's healthy, and I know that's a big if, but if he plays all 16 games, he is in such a prime position. Heck, even if he plays 14 games, he's in such a prime position to put up some fantastic numbers this year that by the end of the season, a lot of people are going to be saying, man, Dalvin Cook should have been a first-round pick. I honestly think that he's going to be a top 6 to 7 running back. And I know I already said that I was going to be buying Todd Gurley at his position. I do have Dalvin Cook ranked above Todd Gurley. However, I think their ADPs right now are so fantastic that there are buys wherever they land here in the second round.
Yeah, absolutely. I went deep on Dalvin Cook here just a week or so ago. And I'll have a link to that video down in the description where I broke it down where if he only does play 14 games at the pace that he has for his career, that could be an absolutely huge season. I'm not buying the whole injury-prone narrative. Broke it down with past medical history. I mean, it's a legit thing that a year after an ACL, players deal with weakened hamstrings. That's what he was going through last year. We saw the real Dalvin Cook at the end of 2018, and I'm going to buy him right here again in 2019.
At 2.06, this may have been a guy that we would have said a couple of weeks ago was a buy in the second round. But Travis Kelce as a second round pick is now a sell for me because we now know for sure, right now anyway, that Tyreek Hill is going to be playing in the 2019 season, barring anything else that comes out, any other setbacks. With all that being said, Travis Kelce, a lot of people I think thought about him being a second round pick because number one, the tight end position has been so bad. Get the guy at a shallow position early so you can basically run the market there. Also with that, was he going to see a substantial increase in targets and yards? Who was going to be a big play type guy? With Tyreek Hill missing or potentially missing, there was a lot of conversations about what was going to happen with his workload. However, with all that being said, he's a sell for me in the second round, and I said it on a lot of other videos. I am passing on a guy like Kelce early, and I'm going to go more with a guy like Ingram or OJ Howard or Hunter Henry a couple of rounds later.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now that we know that Tyreek Hill will be there for the entire season, Travis Kelce is still, don't get me wrong, he's going to be an elite option at the position. But, I mean, another name you didn't name was Vance McDonald. That's somebody else that I'd rather have later on at a lot cheaper price. I mean, Travis Kelce is an elite tight end. He's going to have a great season again. But with some of these names moving up this list, somebody has to move back down. I'm okay with Kelce maybe at the end of the second, beginning of the third, right around the turn section. But at this point, at this ADP, I'm going to sell Kelce also.
All right, 2.07. And Jake, what are we all about on this channel?
We all about that Chubb life, Kyle.
All about that Chubb life. Nick Chubb coming in at the 2.07. I already mentioned it with OBJ. We are buying this offense. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you want some deep diving statistics on why you don't need to worry about Kareem Hunt and you need to own Nick Chubb, I put out a must-own video a couple of weeks ago. We're going to link that in the description below. That's a video that you definitely want to check out because I'm going to convince you that Nick Chubb is a top pick for you this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't care about Kareem Hunt. Not worried about it. It's a long way to go. And if you really think that Kareem Hunt's going to come back that first week and just take all the carries away from Nick Chubb, you are severely, mind, yourself because it's not going to happen. Okay, it's just not going to happen. By the time that it gets to that point, you've more than likely already reached the fantasy playoffs. Nick Chubb is going to be a part of this offense all year long. That improved offense and improved defense is going to give him all types of garbage points late in games when they're trying to finish out a game with a lead. I'm all about that Chubb life.
At 2.08, we've got Damian Williams, and this is a guy that has been really hot, really cold. There has been so many different opinions on Damian Williams this offseason that it's hard to truly gauge what his value is. The guy at the end of last season, I mean, he showed that he had the upside of a first-round pick. but there's question marks about him. What's going to happen with him? Can he live up to what Kareem Hunt was the last couple of years? To me, he's a sell here. Just because at the end of last season, his fantasy points were propped up by an unrealistic amount of touchdowns. It's not something that I think he can keep up heading into next season. Is he going to be handcuffed a little bit more? Carlos Hyde is there. There's some other rookies I've talked about in some other videos as well that could end up playing an important role this year. If he gets injured, does he lose his job the way Spencer Ware did a couple of years ago? Too many question marks for me to take him in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, there's upside there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the running back in Andy Reid's offense is typically somebody who's going to produce huge numbers. Can he sustain it all year long? That's the big question. Now, it really depends how your draft falls. I do think at this point of the draft, with all the names we've already named, he may be one of the best running backs available at that point. So it really depends on what your first round pick was here. I like to go heavy running back early. And for that reason, I don't mind Damian Williams here, because more than likely I'll have had a solid stud running back in round one also. This makes him my number two, a little bit less risky. For that point right there, I'm going to buy Damian Williams.
2.09 Antonio Brown, same face, new place. What's he going to do with the Oakland Raiders this year? Another guy that has a ton of question marks, but we've talked about Derek Carr a lot on this channel. Jake just talked about him in a video just a couple of days ago, describing him as a late round pick and some stats that really showed off that this is a guy that, could usher in a different type of offense this year. He's had a full year with Gruden now. He's got some more weapons. What's going to happen with him? Antonio Brown, I'll buy him in the late second. Let's go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. At this price, for the amount of volume that he's going to see in this offense, he's going to be the lead target in this offense. And as long as he can gain some chemistry with Derek Carr, based off of volume alone, it's a smart place to have him. He could definitely outperform this ADP. We've seen it in the past. This is more of a one-year thing. It's not something where I'm buying him in Dynasty right now, but I absolutely think that this is perfect value for Antonio Brown. Sign me up. I'm buying him right here.
2.10, give me all the Mike Evans you possibly can. This is a guy that, honestly, for me, is a top five wide receiver heading into this season. Absolutely love Mike Evans in that Bruce Arians offense. Last year, Mike Evans led the NFL in reception or yards per reception for wide receivers that had at least 75% of their team snaps. And this is a guy that's in for a huge year. If he could get back, and he had such a quiet year last year as well. People just aren't talking about him. They're talking more about Chris Godwin, it feels like, at this point. But Mike Evans, is if he can get back towards that double-digit touchdown range, this is a guy that's going to be one of the best picks that you'll make in the 2019 draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I will take Mike Evans anywhere I can possibly get him for fantasy football here in 2019. Like you said, it may have been the quietest 1,500-yard season maybe ever in fantasy football. And now he gets the Bruce Arians offense, a below-average defense. There's no resemblance of a running game in Tampa Bay. You have hashtag say no to Rojo and all the other misfits back there in the backfield. So sign me up for a huge passing game, and Mike Evans is somebody who's going to be the main beneficiary. I'm buying all day long.
All right, coming in at 2.11 here at the end of the second round, Aaron Jones from the Green Bay Packers. And I like Aaron Jones. I think he's a terrific athlete. He's going to be a very good football player, but there's been concerns. He's had some legal issues. He's had some injury issues. He hasn't really been able to stay on the field. Can he do that in 2019? He has a new coach there, Matt LaFleur. And I was concerned when the hire was made because LaFleur, in my opinion, really botched the running back situation in Tennessee. He didn't really work the Derrick Henry, Deion Lewis situation very well. So was Jamal Williams going to still take a lot of carries away from Aaron Jones? Newly drafted Dexter Williams, is he going to work his way into the lineup somehow? But over the last few days, and take everything with a grain of salt, it is speak during training camp, but LaFleur has basically come out and said, Aaron Jones is our guy. He's exactly what I want. He can do everything we need in this game. So as a big 2019 ahead, I was looking at him as a third-round pick, but now with all of this being said, I'll buy him at the end of the second round.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm all in on Aaron Jones here at this point. He's going to be a buy for me also. In the past, he's really been able to produce with little volume. I mean, we've seen some big games in the past from Aaron Jones, and he didn't need to go out there and get you 20 carries a game in order to get it. If we can get this guy between 12 and 15 touches a game in that offense with the goal line work, he's definitely not only going to outproduce this ADP, more than likely he may be one of the best running backs in all of fantasy football. Aaron Rodgers has already come out and said, hey, this is the guy we want. This is the guy we need in this offense. You've already touched on the coaching staff. If they believe in him, can give him the ball, Aaron Jones could be a huge surprise for a lot of people in 2019, and I'm buying all day long at the end of the second round.
Yep, and a limited workload, over 5 yards per carry the last two seasons. So the dynamic playmaking ability is there. All right, to end the second round, now we have a guy that we've talked about already once in this round with Travis Kelce. His ADP is going to continue to climb. Coming in at the end of the second round right now, Tyreek Hill, he's going to be a first-round ADP here before too long, or a very early second-round ADP. But speaking in the here and now, as a late second-round pick, very end of the second round, I'll buy Tyreek Hill here. Again, speaking from a fantasy football standpoint, Tyreek Hill could be in for another huge season. He's got that first round upside. If you can still get him right now in drafts at the end of the second, go for it. But more than likely, by the time you watch this video, any drafts you do, he's going to be back into the first round.
Yep, absolutely. And he's obviously going to be a buy for me here at that point also. But let's just do this real quick. At what point do you sell Tyreek Hill? How high does he have to get before you start to pass? Maybe that will give some of the people out there a little bit better of an opinion, because we kind of know where he's going to go. At what point would you kind of cut it off, though?
It's really going to depend on how the ADP plays out. More than likely, he would be a buy for me up until probably the early second round, just because, again, like we talked about, I'm a real running back heavy guy, so I might have a couple of running backs over him. I'm also thinking that there are a couple of wide receivers that put him right at that wide receiver 5 or 6 range. So I do like him, again, from a fantasy football standpoint. Probably early second round is where I would say, do I really want to take him here or not? This is a good value. We'll have to see what happens, though.
Yep, absolutely. That's kind of what I was thinking. Right there at the turn, right around the 12, 13, 14 mark overall, that's where you're probably going to end up seeing Tyreek Hill go once we get closer to actual fantasy football drafts come August, mid-August, and we get closer to the season. But hey, that's going to go ahead and wrap up round 2. We went through these guys as quickly as we can. If you have other questions, make sure you put them down below in the comment section. We answer every comment on every video. We love to be interactive, love to talk with you guys back and forth. Once again, head over to our website, check it out. Lots of other great articles and information over there to check out. Also, get yourself signed up to win that Alvin Kamara jersey, and we will look forward to talking to you guys on a future episode. Have a good one. We appreciate you.